Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here. Welcome back to the Backpack Hack channel. And in a previous video, I showed you how to make char cloth using some scrap material and a fire. And I also showed you in a previous video how to make a bird's nest. And this is just a small one that I made that would fit inside an Altoids tin. This is something that you may want to do when you're out and about. Go ahead and take a spare Altoids tin and put a bird's nest in it, and that way it can stay nice and dry. You weren't trying to find one when it's raining. But today we're going to be talking about flint and steel. Now this is what a lot of people think of when they think of flint and steel, an actual piece of flint and the old-fashioned steel. This is one I picked up at a gun show. You know, it was like $7. I thought, why not? But I haven't had very good luck with this one, nor have I had very good luck with any of the flint that I've been able to find in my area and in my travels. I just can't find good flint, and I just can't get a good spark. I can get a spark, but I'm sitting here striking and striking and striking and striking. It takes me 15, 20 minutes sometimes to get a number. This is my fire kit. I have char cloth in a little Ziploc bag, and I actually use quartz. These are all the pieces of quartz that I've been able to find, or at least what's left. I need to go find some more because this is about all I have left. And then I use a steel that's made by Ted Cash, and I'll put a link in the description to his website. I think these are like $11 or $12 or $15 or something like that, and I've been able to get a lot better spark off of this than I have with this. So this is my preferred method, and I just carry it in an Altoids tin with a couple pieces of quartz and my char cloth, and that is my fire starting kit. Now let's get a little scientific here. Iron has the property, iron being the main component of steel, has the unique property of being what's called pyrophoric, which means that when iron is exposed to oxygen, it self-combusts. Now I know what you're thinking. You know, I'm standing here or sitting here holding a piece of steel containing iron, and there's oxygen in the air. Obviously, I'm breathing it. Why doesn't this thing self-combust? Well, I think it's the product of the ratio. There's way too much iron in terms of the oxygen that's available. So once you get that ratio down to more to there's gazillion atoms of iron to every atom of oxygen. Another explanation I've heard is that this has already self-combust. The actual surface is just so thin of a layer of oxidation or rust that the oxygen can't penetrate past that to the iron down underneath it. That's another explanation I've heard. I don't know whichever one is true, but we're going to take advantage of the fact that when little flakes of iron are introduced into the air, they create a spark. Now, if you've ever watched a machinist or a metal worker use a grinder or a chop saw, you see that big spray of sparks. We're going to do the same thing. That's what this is. We're going to do the same thing on a small scale. Now, the idea here is to get some sparks to come off of this. In order to do that, we need a hard surface. Quartz and flint work. Some people use chert. There are other natural materials out there that will work, but these are the most common: quartz, chert, and flint. And what the idea here is you're going to try to find a very sharp edge, and if you need to, you can break these into pieces and try to get a sharp edge. Break them into smaller pieces. Here's a very, very small one. If I had to, I could put this into my pocket and I've still got a sharp edge. And the idea here is that this material, whether it's the quartz or the flint or the chert or whatever, is sharp enough and hard enough that it will gouge into this steel and pull off just a little teeny, and hopefully one of those flakes, when you position it correctly, will jump up onto your char cloth. Now, the idea here is to put your char cloth not quite to the sharp edge, and then you strike it very, very quickly and very, very hard with your steel, and hopefully a spark will fly up. Now, there isn't anything you can do to make it fly up. What you're going to be doing is just making sparks and hope that one flies up. Now, there's a couple of things you need to have ready before you do this. Obviously, you need your flint and steel and your char cloth, but also you need to have a bird's nest ready to take that ember, because you're going to go from a spark to an ember, and you're going to put that ember here in your bird's nest, and then you're going to have your fire lay ready. You're going to have more tinder available in your fire lay to transfer it from here to the fire, wherever you're having your fire. Then you're going to have kindling, and you're going to have your actual fuel or logs that that's what you're going to be working with for your fire. So you want to have all that ready. A couple other things you're going to want to have is, until you get very proficient at this, you're going to want to have some antibiotics and some bandages, because when you're sitting here striking this, you will hit your knuckles, you will strike your fingers and your thumb with the steel, and you'll probably bleed. So you want to have those available until you get rather proficient at this. So I'm going to go ahead, and this one looks like a good one. Let's see if I can get a fire started. I'm going to fold this in half and give me a little bit more surface area to catch a spark. And you want to back just a little bit. You don't want it, in other words, you don't want it right up on the edge, and you don't want it past the edge. You want it back just a little bit shy, because the reason being is you're going to be striking at this angle. You aren't going to be striking here. You're going to be striking like this. So let's go ahead and see if I can get a spark and an ember right off the bat. And now we're going to put that ember into our bird's nest and see if we can get flame. There's fire. We have fire. So I got very, very lucky with that. But then again, I'm a little bit practiced with this, and it helps to have a nice sharp edge. If you've got a dull edge, you're not going to be getting a good gouge into that. You want a good sharp edge. And so sometimes, like this flint, it's rather rusty. And in fact, there was one spark, there was another one. There's some. I mean, dull ones still can be used, but you're fighting it all the time. And I don't know whether I'd be able to get an ember that quick off of it. But like I say, if you find yourself wanting to learn how to do this, get yourself a flint, get some steel or some quartz or some chert, make the char cloth, learn how to build your bird's nest just like in the previous videos, and practice it. Just sit at home when you got some time and see if you can get an ember. Once you learn how to get an ember consistently, go to your bird's nest and blow on it and convert it into flame. Because using a flint and steel is still my preferred method for starting fires. That's the way I prefer to do it. Even when I'm camping in an organized campsite, I will get out a flint and steel and I will start my fire the old-fashioned way, just to keep in practice. So anyway, that's Flint and Steel. This is Backpack Hack coming at you with another trail tip. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and hit that bell so when I have a new video, you can know about it and you can watch it and learn something. So be safe out there, and I'll see you out there on the trail.